to the Generational Awakening YouTube channel. Our aim is to encourage, equip, and empower Christian leaders and parents to effectively nurture the next generation, become resilient, lifelong disciples of Jesus. Today, we welcome our special guest, Marty.woods. Marty, an Aussie and former English, history, and drama teacher, now heads up the Global Community Festivals Network for the international sports movement. Currently, these open crowd festivals are taking place in over 91 countries. They help churches move into the heart of communities and create celebration. Marty wants to help the church show to the community what the kingdom of God looks like. In Japan, where he is currently living, not only is Marty helping run these festivals, he's also building networks across Japan of Christians coming together in mission. He also mentors a growing number of young men around the world, particularly in Japan. He comes alongside them, helping them to see what may prevent them growing into who God has made them to be. Obviously, he travels a lot, except when the world was locked down during COVID. Yeah. It's a pretty crazy life, but he and his wife, Jenny, they enjoy it. He feels he's living the life he was born for, using what he's learned to help free others. So welcome, Marty. Thank you for joining us today to share your infectious love for God and passion for helping people discover his love and his kingdom.
Well, Harry, what a great introduction. Thanks, brother. And it's really nice to be here. Thank you for the opportunity.
Well, as you can see, I'm dressed for the occasion for just exciting things that we can be doing through festivals. And well, can you start by first telling us how you got into festivals?
Yeah, well, it's really a strange story to begin with. When I was 10, I had a birthday and I invited the whole class, 35 students, and then I told my parents, and I don't know how come, but they said it was okay. And I remember organising the games, and Mum did the food, and I just had such a great day. At the end of the day, I remember saying to her, "This is the best day of my life." I think I've just always been someone who loved bringing people together, loved building community. I used to hate it, you can come to my party, but you can't. I wanted everyone to come. And so that really, well, how did I get involved with festivals? Well, I think I was just always looking for ways that we could do celebration. And so from there, I was an English history teacher, as you just heard, but I joined this Christian youth and community organisation, Fusion, and Fusion was just trying to say, well, people aren't coming to church. How do we go to them? How do we leave the building and get into the community? And that's why I joined it, because that's what I wanted to do. God had so changed my life that I just had to find a way for others to meet him. And I wanted to get out of the building and into the community. And so that's what Fusion was doing. And they've been doing it now for 50 years, running these festivals. As you yourself said, it's just grown to over 91 countries. So it's just a joy and a delight to be part of.
Well, it sounds fantastic. Well, can you actually explain what is a festival and how they work?
Yeah, look, I thought the best thing I do, I've got just a 3-minute video here that just says what we're trying to do with festivals. So I'll show that, and then I'll just explain the basics of what a festival is and how it works, and we'll go from there.
地域の方々はやはり安心できる場所を必要としているかなと思っています。また自分が愛されているっていうことを知る必要があるかなと思っています。ただそういったことがただの教えとして教えられるのではなくて、やっぱり関係のある人から聞くことが大切だなと思っています。そのためにこのコミュニティフェスティバルとかスポーツミニストリーは関係を築くのにとても重要な役割を果たしています。
Well, in the festival, we will see a lot of kids just having fun there and enjoying a lot of booth. The thing I really like is it's open crowd festival, so it's open for everyone. Some of the Japanese people are really lonely, So a community which knows about God's love is really important in Japan.
I haven't found a better way to make visible what God's kingdom looks like than open crowd festivals. I just see it working. I see it working in countries all around the world. So I just want to encourage people, come on, we've got to leave our buildings. Look, people need to hear this good news. It's so changed our life.
そのフェスティバルを最初に経験した時にやっぱり自分の魂のその解放、そしてそこに神様の臨在をそのフェスティバルを通して自分も体験したということがあります。でその喜びをもっと全国各地の子どもたちやまたファミリー、そして地域の人たちに知っていただきたいなと思ってマーティさんと一緒に頑張っています。
コミュニティフェスティバルを通してまず教会は地域と強い関係を持つことができました。今では毎回300人から400人の子どもたちが来て、そしてそこから教会につながる子どもたち、洗礼を受ける子どもたちが起こされてきています。
What I love most about festivals is watching people move from suspicion to celebration. The fairy dust of festivals is people's spirit come alive. I love watching people dancing. I love people laughing. Celebration comes from the human spirit. That's what I love most at a festival, when you can see people celebrating, the whole community coming together, and people saying, what are you people on? In fact, I remember once at a festival, a lady came up and said, this is what God's like, isn't it? And I said, what do you mean? She said, well, what you are doing, that I don't even believe in God, but I think that's what God's like. That's what I see that a festival can do and be like.
Okay, so that gives you a glimpse. This is what we're doing here across Japan, and it's just such a great way to connect with the community. We've run these festivals quite often, and we've seen kids. We meet families and children, and they come to holiday clubs. They come to different programs, and we've now been baptizing, just seeing a number of people come into faith. It's super encouraging. But let me just tell you what the goals are and our values, because I think that helps you to just get a glimpse of what a festival is really about. I want to just show you a little more of what we're trying to do at a community festival. So, free spirit, as I said in the video, you can see celebration comes from the human spirit. But our three goals are this. First one, we just want to make friends for Jesus. Isn't this beautiful? Jesus says, I don't call you servants, I call you friends. All Jesus ever wants as Watchman Nee is to be our friend. Wow. So Jesus wants to be our friend. And so we want to make friends for Jesus. And the second goal is we want to show people the way life was meant to be. What does the kingdom look like? Right relationships where people are free to just enjoy and to discover who God is. And then the third thing we have is that it's always a next step in discipleship and community transformation. So that's why we run our festivals. You can see this one, the local police. This is in London. They came to this festival. We just want to be at the heart of the community. So that's our goals. And we have these values of generosity, kindness, and hospitality. Here in Japan, everybody's so kind. Our job is to out-kind the Japanese. We just want to give people, it's people's kindness. If someone is kind to you, it can change more than your day. It can change your life. Generosity, hospitality, they're values of the kingdom, and that's what we want to show. And then I want to show you what we do next. We have 3 or 5 core principles at our festival. First one is this, that kids are the stars. We want to make them feel so special because the parents see us doing it and they're so impressed. I've already talked about this, but I want to keep emphasizing it. It's a celebration. Look what Jesus says. The kingdom of God's like a wedding feast, a party. It's a celebration. I think sometimes as Christians, we're so serious. Come on. We've got to learn to celebrate, enjoy life more. And here's the third one. At all our festivals, they're free and they're open to everybody. So we want everyone to feel like that they can belong. And that's why we make it for free. Gee, I can't emphasize this. The life of the team is the ministry. How we all get on together, how we work together, that becomes the ministry. And then the final one. Everything we do, we have the end in mind. And for us, the end in mind is we want to make disciples. So we're meeting people and we're taking them on a journey of discipleship. So that's what we're trying to do. That's what a festival is. That's how it works. And just seems to be working, Harry.
Yeah, well, it's beautifully simple, and it's amazing just how God is touching hearts through this. Well, can you share some stories just from around the world, the impact that you've seen?
Yeah. Well, look, I've already mentioned here in Japan, and we're running them all over Japan, and it's just been so incredible because they just bring a unity. Because we often say, brought to you by all the churches of this area. Like, to run a festival, it's so much better when we're all doing it together. And the best thing is, at a festival, you're not trying to work out, what do you think about the gift of tongues, or what about infant baptism? It's just people who love Jesus who want to work together. So yes, here in Japan, it's really taken off, but it's all around the world. And, in Syria, we had 100 festivals in Syria last year, 50 in Sudan, 50 in Egypt. I mean, it's really taken off in the Middle East. And what we're trying to do is to show people what Christianity is like. You can say all you like, Jesus is the answer, but often they're saying, what's the question? So we want to try and show it. And so that's why we're running these festivals. And so here's the scariest one for us at the moment, because France next year, 2024, is the Olympics. You know what's going to happen on opening night? First time ever this has happened. The Olympic opening is not in the stadium. It's along the River Seine. It's going to be boats, whole flotilla of ships, boats, everything. And, the teams will come on it, but the artists, it's going to be crazy. And so what we're wanting to do is across the Francophone world to have an opening night festivals where we have a parade where the whole community comes out, and then we do a festival, just like you've seen there. And then, you know what we're going to do? Sit down, and wherever you are, we watch the opening night of the Paris Olympics on the 26th of July next year. And we want to celebrate everything French, and that's why we're going to every Francophone country, but particularly in West Africa. And so, sure, there's a lot that's happening around the world, but suddenly we're about to move to a whole new level. And not just there, but because in 2033, it's going to be the 2000th anniversary. And so we've been approached to run these community festivals on the 2000th anniversary of the resurrection. What a great thing. Easter Sunday, Easter Monday, to have a live festival. And then leading up 50 days later, the 2000th anniversary of the church, birthday of the church, we're going to be doing this. So, Harry, life is going to be pretty full these next 10 years. And I can't wait.
Yeah, it sounds amazing. And I think certainly, in the part of the world where I am in French-speaking Belgium, it's great news to hear of what's being planned for next year, and just globally, it's just these are wonderful opportunities you're mentioning to us that we can be thinking and praying about as well.
Yeah, great.
How can we get involved in our local level?
Yeah.
Well, how do you see these festivals then helping build towards community transformation?
Yeah. Yes. Well, I've always been touched by everybody knows Jeremiah 29, I know the plans I have for you. But there's this verse earlier on, it says, as you seek the peace of the city that God has called you, you you know your own peace, but you transform, the whole city experiences the peace. And I feel like that's what we want to do. The church has the best news. Why aren't we in the community? Like people want to see does this work? And so when they see an expression of Christianity that's real, it's amazing how people say, well, what? I say in the video, people say, what are you people on? How come? But what we do is this, like we put on an event, but we're interested in what we do afterwards. And so we meet the community and we start thinking, what else can we do to transform the community? And so that's always the goal that we have. Festivals, I actually say to people, festivals never work if you're just doing a one-off event and everyone claps you. But they only work when they're part of a community transformation strategy. So we've found them to be a great first step because we don't preach at a festival. What we do is we just live out the kingdom. There's celebration, all those things that you heard me speak about earlier. But then what we do is we talk to the community. Like to get permission to run a festival, you have to get the local council on site. We find where we are in Japan, the council keeps asking us, when's the next festival? We love what you're doing. What else could you do? And we have a number of Ukrainian refugees. And so we had a Ukrainian festival and we celebrated the courage of so many Ukrainians. When in Japan here, if there's a natural disaster, and sadly there's been quite a few, particularly the tsunami 11 years ago, but we used that event, that sadness of that event, to get the whole community to donate. And the churches took all the gear out to the area. And so our church, or the churches in our area, became the focus. People said, we want to help. We'll go to the church. Isn't that great? That's what the church should be like. And so always we're looking at how we can transform communities. Number of places where we've run festivals, we've started churches, church plans. I think it's the best way to start a church plan because you just come together and you meet the community first and you start talking and then you can share what you're trying to do. So we're trying to be creative, innovative, and look at how can we bring the kingdom wherever we are.
That's beautiful. Well, what are your plans towards growing the festivals even more, and how are you managing to keep up and follow up with everyone?
Yeah, well, it was so interesting during COVID because we had we were planning to have 1 million people at our festivals in Japan. Well, guess what? Over those 2 years, nothing. We weren't allowed to have anything, and we obviously wanted to appreciate where the community was. So what we did, we got 1 million hours of prayer. It was fantastic, and I really believe that's why God's moving so much in Japan because of that. And so, yes, we want to use major sporting events. So I've said something about France, but what we're planning for 2026 and 2028 in America, because it's World Cup 26 and LA Olympics 28, we want to help the church, any major event, how can you make an impact on the community? And so festivals is just one strategy. It's working, but in America, we have this incredible strategy called the Cup of Nations. It all started in Houston, where over 50% of people from Houston are from other countries. And so we just brought all these different nationalities together and started a football competition and, just a tournament. And it just went so well. And so we've been developing ways that when a major sporting event comes, either to a nation or to the world, what we want to do is how can we make an impact on the community? And so it's not just major events like sport, it could be a competition or something that happens in your city that people come together. It could be on a national day. What we are encouraging people to do is to look, where is your city, your country celebrating? What could you do to be at the heart of the celebration, to create a celebration where people come alive? And so that's how we're building it. And we have this crazy dream of 100 million people by 2033 to be at our festival. So, we're getting coordinators in each country. And so, yeah, one of the things I'd love to say, if people watching this are interested, please, what we'll do at the end, I'll give you the website for the training. So if you're interested in how we do training, but also what I'm really interested in, make contact with us. And what we'll do is we'll put you in touch with people in your country who are also committed to using this strategy and other strategies to transform the community. Being part of the sports movement, it's just this beautiful kingdom movement using sport. What is it about sport that is such a great way to bridge into people's lives? And so that's what we like to do, and it could be people who just want to use play activities, sporting activities. We have health and fitness. We have esports, or using gaming. So we've got a whole range of things that we can do if people are interested. That's what we'd love to encourage people to do.
Wonderful. Well, what things do you do other than festivals, Marty? You seem to be incredibly invested in people.
Oh yeah, look, it's amazing, isn't it? I just want to help people grow, and I love festivals because I think you just get people. Like, I love the kids being a star. I remember once I was a drama teacher, and this one girl, she was in the school play and I was producing the play. And just before she went on, said, Mr. Woods, I can't do it. I'm hopeless. And I was saying, yes, you can. And basically, I pushed her out. She came back. She was fantastic. And she came back into the end of the backstage and she said, Mr. Woods, I'm a star. And I love that moment because that's what I want to do. I want to help not just kids become a star, everybody to discover who God has made them to be. Each of us has a story, a dream, a poem, a song that only we can write, that only we can do. And so what I want to do is, how do I help free people? Now, it's just so interesting because Jesus says, the spirit is willing, flesh is weak. And it's so true. It's too true, Our spirit is willing, that part of us that's in touch with God. But the flesh, it just works against our freedom. And so over the last 50 years, I've just been doing a lot of mentoring as a teacher. Even in my last year at school, that was 50 years ago, I started mentoring. And so what I do is just basically listen, try and help people. There's a song, Take the Shackles Off Your Feet So You Can Dance. Well, I want to help people. It's so amazing. The writer of the Hebrews says in chapter 12, since we're surrounded by this great crowd of witnesses, cheering us on, let's get rid of the sin that entangles, whatever holds us back, and let's run with determination the race that's marked out for us. So we all have a race. But here's the key, looking to Jesus, the perfecter, the pioneer of our faith. And the Message translation says, if you do this, this will inject adrenaline into your soul. And it's true, when you find your story, you become who you've been made to be. And you become alive. And so, yes, I've been doing this mentoring for years. And so finally, yay, after all these years, I've written a book. Yay, and that's called A Willing Spirit. And it's really about how you make the spirit the integrating part of you. And I think mentoring is such a great way. And I encourage everyone, even those listening, I wonder if someone, who was great in your life? I had a mentor for 47 years. Can you believe that? And he just saw me, loved me, believed in me. In fact, I wasn't a Christian when I first met him. But I thought, whatever he's got, I want. And I became a believer through him. And he just started discipling me, caring for me, loving me. And from that, I now do it to others. And so that's what my job is. I remember a quote that said, every young man needs a mentor, not to get wisdom from, but to get their spirit. Well, I got this guy's spirit. And so my job is to pass on my spirit. your listeners, their job, yeah, I believe, is to pass on their spirit. And people, it's spirit to spirit. It's such a profound thing. What is our spirit? It's that part made in the image of God. When God breathed life into us, loving. It's your spirit's loving, truthful, creative, responsible. I really love this. This is what a great passage. In Romans 8, Paul says, when God's spirit meets our spirit, there's two things. We know who we are and we cry out, Abba, Father, Papa, Daddy. Wow, that's what our spirit longs for. So that's the other thing I do, Harry. I love mentoring. And I just really love helping people to be free.
Well, thank you, Marty. That's a beautiful way of looking at it. Well, as we conclude our time today, what recommendation or call to action do you have for viewers?
This good news, as I said in the video, that has so changed our life. We can't keep it to ourselves. Paul says, the love of God compels me. We're to be living letters known and read by all people. Hey, come on, team. We can't keep this good news to ourselves. You know, like, we of all people should be the freest. You know, I want to encourage everybody, stop being so serious. Stop, we're serious sausages sometimes, you know. Come on. You know, like on Easter Sunday, we say he is risen. Yes, he's risen dead. I think we should be celebrating. Yippee! Easter Sunday's the best day in the whole of the year. And yet our bodies our body's actions don't show it. And so that's what I want to encourage people to do. Let's move to the front foot. Let's live out our faith. Let's find ways to network amongst the community. I want to challenge all of those that are listening. Who are the other kingdom people, you know, that just say, give me this place or I die? Look what Caleb says, give me the hard places. There's got to be a way to reach your community. God hasn't said, you can't do it. No, there's a way. But will you wrestle like Jacob, who wrestled and said, I'm not giving up until you give me the blessing? I want to encourage you to pray, to wrestle, and to not give up. And if festivals and mentoring can help, great. There may be other things, but I want to encourage you. You can't keep it inside. Come on. We've got to let people know this good news. So there's a bit of enthusiasm. I can't stop. It just comes from inside. Jesus has so changed my life. Come on. We've got to share it. People are missing out on this. Oh, we want them to find this good news. So that was a bit of a long answer there, Harry, but that's what I'd want to encourage people.
Well, thanks, Marty. Thanks for being with us and for the amazing ways you're passionately blessing the global church and how you've blessed us today through just what you've been sharing with us and inspiring us.
Well, thank you very much. It's a real pleasure.
Well, our viewers, if you have found value in what we have shared today, I invite you to like this video and hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to be informed of each new video released. Let us know in the comments below what you have found most helpful or encouraging and any questions you may have from myself or from Marty. And then share the link with friends and churches who would also be helped and inspired. And together, let's impact many more lives for good across all the generations, learning to celebrate together truly. So thank you again for joining us today. Be blessed and let's keep multiplying the blessing to others. So bye for now.